You have not seen the effects of civil war. Please remember, I cannot be a refugee at this age. I cannot allow my grandchildren to be refugees in this age. We have heard you, the message is clear. I want to also ask the political class that we must pause and say what has led to this Gen Z's uprising. We must deal with corruption. We must deal with inefficiencies in government departments. We must stand for the rights of Kenyans as far as their governance activities are concerned. And therefore, for those of us who are in politics, for those of us who have been entrusted with the leadership of this country, we must do a bit of summative and formative evaluation and take into account those positive suggestions made by our sons and daughters. I want to ask you once again, please give the president and his government an opportunity to internalize and implement those positive suggestions that you have made. I am aware that right now there are a lot of underemployment. There are a lot of unemployments. So many graduates with first-class degrees are outside there in the field without jobs. This can only be sorted out if we put our heads together, if we collectively work for the premier nation called Kenya. Kenya is our motherland. For those of us who have had an opportunity, and I've had an opportunity of being the chairman and the chairman of Defense and Foreign Relations, and having gone to many countries, I can tell you, we have a country that we ought to be proud of. Civil war only creates humanitarian crisis, environmental devastation, hunger, and total lawlessness. Wherever we are, Mr. Speaker, having a country governed under the rule of law, under what you call constitutionalism, is not something that you can exchange for anything else. I want us just to look around and see what has happened, unfortunately, the things that happened to some of our neighbors, and where they are today. I do also appreciate that we are not where we are supposed to be. We have lagged behind. This country in the 80s, in the 60s, was a donor country, Mr. Speaker. Our GDP was at par with South Korea. Our GDP was at par with Indonesia. Today, the GDP of South Korea is 50 times that of Kenya. We used to be a lending nation, donor nation, to the newly independent African countries. Today, we have lagged behind. These issues must be addressed collectively. The president alone cannot address. The citizenship must be ready to support the government. The president must be ready to listen to the citizens. The citizens must have faith in their leadership. The leadership must remain accountable, Mr. Speaker. And Mr. Speaker, this is why I say, as the father of the 13th Parliament, there comes a time when we must all get together, reason, and collectively pursue a path that will add us to the list of developed nations, Mr. Speaker. That path cannot be achieved through violence. That path cannot be achieved through the activities that we have seen in the name of economic sabotage. Mr. Speaker, how do you create employment, yet the very avenues of creating employment are being sabotaged? When you say you want to occupy Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, which is the communication hub, the transport hub of the region, literally you want to grind our economic activities to a halt. Where will employment come from, Mr. Speaker? When you want to discourage the business people in creating wealth, where will employment come from? We are negating every positive activities our forefathers, our fathers have left to that. It is our generation. Mr. Speaker, I want to appeal to all of us. We must reason together. We must listen to each other. We must all say, what is it that I can add positively to this premier nation? We also do appreciate this is a country of many tribes. This is a country of many regions. This is a diverse country. Our diversity must be used to positively project the image of this country, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, wherever we are, politicians come and go, but Kenya will remain. Where are those freedom fighters? They are all gone. They have left us to take this country to another level. It's our time, and we must not allow this country to degenerate into the state of lawlessness when we are awake, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I do know politics is so divisive. We have had it. Elections come and go. We have had elections. We have a democratically elected government. President Ruto did not use our power. He was elected. The elections were disputed. The Supreme Court validated. He is the duly democratically elected president of the Republic of Kenya. Whereas you may have issues, can we do it through our established, democratically accepted process? And the process are there. We have our own political parties. We have our constitutions. We have the courts. We have other avenues of passing information. But Mr. Speaker, wherever we are, I want to plead with also my colleagues, the political class, those who have been yabbing around. I want to tell you, you have not seen the effects of civil war. You only need to go out. Please remember, I cannot be a refugee at this age. I cannot allow my grandchildren to be refugees in this age. I will do whatever it takes as an individual, as a leader, to make sure Kenya remains a united, democratic country. And this will not be a mean achievement. Mr. Speaker, I do know today what you said when you contributed touched me emotionally. Because there comes a time when a person must get out of that tribal yoke, regional thinking, and expand one's horizon of thinking and say, what is it that I can add to my country? Mr. Speaker, I know right now, we're in a very difficult period. Not only Kenya. Look at what's happening globally. Look at what has happened in Bangladesh the other day. Look at what has happened in America 2 days ago. Look at what is happening. There's a global general activities that are going on. But there, you saw the other day, even President Biden say, look, we cannot afford to contribute to anything that negates the existence of the United States of America. What are we doing as leadership? Mr. Speaker, I want to recommit, and I want my sons and daughters, wherever they are, to listen. Your message was loud. Your message was clear. Your agenda was focused. And I'm sure we in the political class will give you an opportunity. And I also want to appreciate the President for hearing the cries of our children. That is why the President declined to assent to the finance bill. That is why the President dissolved his cabinet.